Imagine a world without instant messages, without selfies you can immediately check, without Google Maps telling you exactly where to go. Sounds terrifying, right? For Gen Z, a generation that averages around 9 hours of screen time a day, it's almost unimaginable. So we challenged a few brave Gen Zers to step into a technological time warp, reacting to the everyday tech of the 90s and early 2000s. Get ready for some serious culture shock and even more serious laughs. Welcome to Gen Z Tries 90s Technology, reacting to old tech. Prepare for bewilderment, frustration, and maybe, just maybe, a little bit of respect for how their parents survived. If you remember the agonizing screech of dial-up internet, hit that like button. If you've only ever known Wi-Fi, you are definitely in the right place, so make sure you subscribe. Let's send Gen Z back to the future, or rather, the past. 1. The cassette player. First up in our technological time capsule, the humble portable cassette player. For millennials, this was the Sony Walkman, a revolutionary device that, by 1999, had sold over 186 million units worldwide. It was our Spotify, our soundtrack to the world. For our Gen Z participant, Maya, it's a plastic box with weird symbols. Her thumb instinctively swipes across the small plastic window, searching for a touchscreen that isn't there. A confused frown forms. She pokes at the buttons, which offer a hard, unsatisfying clack instead of the gentle haptic feedback she's used to. Is this a brick? She asks, half joking. We handed her a cassette tape. She stares at it, then at the player, her expression a perfect mix of curiosity and suspicion. After a few fumbling attempts, she manages to pry open the flimsy plastic door and slot the tape inside. Success! She presses the button with the triangle symbol. Music, grainy, hissy, and unmistakably analog, fills her headphones. She listens for a moment, then her face scrunches up again. Okay, how do I skip to the next song? She asks, her finger hovering over the buttons. We explain the function of the double triangle fast-forward button. Her eyes widen in disbelief. You mean I can't just skip? I have to hold this down and just guess? The concept of not having instant access to a specific track is utterly alien. The cognitive load of manually searching for a song, a task now handled by algorithms, is a genuine struggle. This is a world without instant gratification, a core principle of modern digital life. For millennials, this was the ritual. We knew the art of the mixtape, a painstaking labor of love that involved recording songs from the radio, praying the DJ wouldn't talk over the intro. We knew the unique, soul-crushing horror of a player eating a precious tape, the thin magnetic ribbon getting hopelessly tangled in the machine's guts. This wasn't just listening, it was a high-stakes relationship with your music. Maya finally gets the hang of rewinding, a look of grudging respect on her face. Okay, this took like so much effort, she admits, but I get it. You had to be intentional with your music. Every song on a mixtape had to be a banger, no cap. It's kinda cool. A newfound appreciation for curation born from scarcity. 2. The film camera, patience in pixels. Next, we handed our Gen Z subject Liam a disposable camera, a relic from an era when photography was a chemical process, not a digital one. In the late 80s and 90s, these simple single-use cameras were everywhere, costing between $7 and $10. They were the epitome of point and shoot. Liam, a true digital native who has probably taken more photos in the last month than most people in the 90s took in a year, examines the camera. He finds the shutter button and takes a picture of his friend. Then, he immediately flips the camera over, his eyes searching for the preview screen. He turns it over again. Nothing. Wait, he says, a slow dawning horror on his face. Where's the picture? How do I know if I blinked? You mean you just hoped it was good? The concept is a system shock. We explain that he has a finite number of shots, maybe 24 or 36, and that once the roll is finished, he has to take the entire camera to a store to get the film developed, a process that could take days. His jaw drops. Days? So you'd go on vacation, take all these pictures and not see any of them until you got home? That's a big yikes. For millennials, this was the magic and the agony of photography. Every shot was precious because it had a real cost. There was no deleting the bad ones. The suspense of waiting for your photos to be developed was a unique, emotional roller coaster. a mix of excitement and dread as you open that paper envelope from the photo lab. This experience is a perfect illustration of delayed gratification, a psychological muscle that modern technology rarely asks us to flex. Digital life allows us to meticulously edit and perfect our public personas in real time. The film camera offers no such control. A few days later, we hand Liam the developed prints. He flips through them, his initial frustration melting away. The photos are grainy, the colors are slightly off, and some are a bit blurry. But they're also authentic. Whoa, these have a vibe, he says, genuinely impressed. It's like a real-life Instagram filter. It feels more real, more intentional. A forgotten lesson in the joy of anticipation and the beauty of imperfection. Our Gen Z friends are learning some tough lessons about life before Wi-Fi. But what about you? Millennials, what 90s tech do you think Gen Z would find the most baffling? And Gen Z, which one of these ancient artifacts looks kinda cool? Drop your retro tech opinions in the comments below. 3. The Windows 95 PC and dial-up internet, the sound of the past. Now for the main event. We set our next participant, Chloe, in front of a beige desktop PC running Windows 95. For its time, Windows 95 was a revolution, introducing the start menu and taskbar. But for Chloe, accustomed to sleek, silent laptops, the experience starts with a loud, whirring symphony from the hard drive. "What is that noise?" she asks, leaning away from the machine. But the real shock is yet to come. We tell her to connect to the internet. She clicks the icon for America Online, a service that, for many in the mid-90s, was the internet, and then it begins, a series of piercing beeps, followed by a drawn-out, screeching hiss. Chloe physically recoils. Is it supposed to do that? It sounds like it's screaming. That, Chloe, is the iconic sound of a 56K dial-up modem, a noise that once signified progress, but now sounds like a catastrophic hardware failure. For a generation of early internet users, that sound was a necessary ritual, an audible handshake between two machines negotiating a connection over a phone line. After what feels like an eternity, she's online. We challenge her to download a single song. With a top speed of 56 kilobits per second, this task could take over 12 minutes. She watches the progress bar crawl across the screen. "This is taking forever. I could have streamed a whole album by now." The experience is a masterclass in what HCI experts call extraneous cognitive load, the mental effort required just to deal with a clunky, inefficient interface. The entire system, from its non-intuitive file management to its glacial speed, is a stark reminder of how much patience was once a prerequisite for online life. "I have so much respect for you guys," Chloe says, shaking her head. "The patience you must have had. We're so spoiled with instant everything." A profound insight into the incredible evolution of speed and user interface design. 4. The Rotary dial phone, a manual connection. Our next artifact seems simple, but it proved to be one of the most challenging, a vintage rotary dial telephone. We hand it to Maya, who just stares at it, completely stumped. "Okay, so how do you text on this?" She deadpans. We explain that its only function is to make calls. She picks up the heavy receiver, and we give her a phone number to dial. She looks at the circular dial with its finger holes. Her first instinct is to tap the numbers. Nothing happens. Then she tries to press them. Still nothing. "Brah, I'm glitching. How does this work?" We show her the technique. Insert a finger, rotate the dial to the metal stop, and then let go. The dial whirs back into place, sending a series of electrical pulses down the line for each number. The process is slow, physical, and deliberate. For a user accustomed to tapping a name on a screen, the sheer mechanical effort is a revelation. This is a perfect example of what design expert Don Norman calls an affordance. The rotary dial's design simply does not suggest its function to a modern user. But the biggest shock comes when we ask her to call her friend again, this time without looking at the number. "You mean I have to remember it? In my brain?" The idea of not having a digital contact list is mind-boggling. It's a powerful illustration of cognitive offloading, how we've outsourced the task of remembering to our devices. "That was so much work just to call someone," Maya exclaims after finally connecting the call. "It makes you appreciate just being able to say, 'Hey Siri, call mom.'" A simple task, once requiring memory and manual dexterity, is now reduced to a voice command. Paper map, navigating the analog city. For our final challenge, we took Liam to a street corner, handed him a large, folded paper city map, and gave him a simple task: navigate to a landmark 5 blocks away. He unfolds the map, and unfolds it, and keeps unfolding it until it's a giant, unwieldy sheet of paper. Whoa, this is huge, he says, struggling to hold it in the breeze. Okay, so where's the little blue dot that says you are here? This question perfectly captures the fundamental difference between analog and digital navigation. A GPS is user-centered. The world revolves around you. A paper map is world-centered. You have to find your place in it. Liam struggles to orient the map, to match the street signs in front of him to the lines on the page. He has to interpret a legend of symbols, estimate distances, and trace his route with his finger. It's an active cognitive process, not a passive act of following directions. This isn't just about convenience. A growing body of research suggests that our over-reliance on GPS may be causing the part of our brain responsible for spatial memory, the hippocampus, to atrophy. We are losing our innate ability to navigate. Liam's struggle is a live demonstration of this cognitive shift. After several wrong turns, he eventually finds the landmark, looking exhausted but triumphant. But the final test remains, folding the map back to its original size. He tries once, twice, and ends up with a crumpled mess. Okay, I give up, he laughs, holding up the mangled paper. Google Maps is a W, but I get it. Using this, you actually have to look at the world around you. You have to pay attention. I feel like I know this neighborhood now, instead of just following a line on a screen. A powerful lesson on the lost skill of spatial reasoning and the value of being present in your environment. Conclusion. From the manual labor of a Walkman to the agonizing wait for dial-up, our Gen Z participants experienced a world that was slower, more mechanical, and demanded far more patience. Their journey was a whirlwind of bewilderment, frustration, and ultimately, unexpected appreciation. As Liam put it, I have so much more respect for my parents now. Everything took so much effort, but it also felt more intentional, more tangible. Some of it, like the film camera, was pretty aesthetic, and I might even try it again. This experiment wasn't just for laughs. It was a powerful reminder of how far technology has come and how deeply it shapes our daily expectations. It shows the incredible ingenuity of past generations and the sheer digital fluency of today's youth. And it makes you wonder, what will Gen Alpha, a generation being raised with voice assistants and interactive media from birth, think of the smartphones we use today? The cycle of technological change never stops. Millennials, what old tech do you want to see Gen Z try next? Gen Z, which retro gadget are you now secretly searching for online? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love this trip down memory lane, hit like and subscribe. We'll keep exploring the fascinating world where past tech meets future generations.